And you know, it's kind of one of those things. It's a nice thing to do. Unfortunately, you know, some of the reasoning behind it sucks because it's supposed to be a tournament just for fun, but you know, this is just something that we have to do to protect the validity of the races and everything. But there we go, we're starting.
Yep, and Uncle asking if we're a bad enough dude to rescue Zelda. I think they probably are. It's not very hard to rescue Zelda.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're bad enough dudes to do that. First chest 20 rupees though, and we know that Uncle does not have a sword because he did not walk out with a sword.
Yep, I'll be very interested when V30 eventually hits if the really uncannily low percentage chance of sword is bumped up to normal.
Yeah, but we had a map check there. We have looked like Crystal 7 was up on Hera, 6 in Desert, and part of my predictions, right, there was Green Pendant on Eastern. Oh, but that part's wrong. We got Kanan Burner.
Oh, Brian starts. I kind of maintain that this is probably the least forgiving starting weapon that you can find.
Yep, got a heart container there, but yeah, it's one of those unforgiving weapons because it's one of the easier weapons to go through as far as damage and everything like that. But if you mess up, you usually end up paying for it and having to, you know, restart, or not restart, but you know, save and quit, something like that. Ooh, nice 8 bomb drop there.
Yeah, very nice with Mac. And one of the hard things about the Brian start is the startup cost of the weapon is actually very high. The maintenance cost lower, but that startup is high, so it's really hard to farm because you have to spend a lot for every time you start using it.
Yes.
Good thing to remember if you're playing this on your own and it's a weapon that you kind of have some issues with, the knockback for Kanan Burna always pushes the enemy upwards, so you can use that to your advantage pretty well.
Yep, and we'll see if Asazas gets the bomb drop, because I believe it was off the green guard with the long swords. So he has to kill one of them at the very least, which is this one right here. Yep, there's his bomb drop.
Yep, so no one's gonna get wrecked by escape, and hey, look, a sword!
Yep, who cares at this point? You've got a sword.
No more concerns over magic management or the slow damage of the cane. Just slap things with your plastic sword and they'll drop.
And if anybody's wondering, because you know I saw it in chat about how the stream delay works. Basically, what happens is they start their stream, but the program that's actually streaming it doesn't set it up or start actually streaming what they're doing for about 15 minutes. So it just kind of pauses what they're doing, and then it starts at 15 minutes later. It basically just records it and then starts putting that through. So they're, you know, like I said, right now to them they're at 18 minutes, and we'll see that in 15 minutes, but. And that's, like we said, that's just to protect the tournament at that point.
Yep, and on the runner side, when the race is over and they get to do the interviews, the only real rule in place is for them to try not to come into the restream in chat so they don't spoil the outcome. But they're free to come in and watch if they're not signed in where they could spoil the outcome, which is also another interesting quirk on the running side.
Both runners making really good time, you know, sub 4 minutes leaving the basement of Hyrule Castle. Really good time.
Yeah, especially with Kanan Burna being not really the quickest of the weapons. It definitely has been an efficient run through here for them. Now we enter into the back of Escape, where we would normally talk about how they have to deal with Key Rat and make sure they got enough magic and try to farm bombs. But they've already got all their bombs, and they've got a sword, so none of that is really remotely an issue.
Yep. Go up to the rat, slash him, get the key, and then go check those last chests, because I believe... Actually, I don't know. I don't think we found the map yet.
Yeah, no map yet, so There's the other cane.
Well, you did say a Somalia start, so close enough, I guess.
Yeah, it wasn't far off. That's 3 of the 7 uncle weapons within the course of escape, 4 if you count the bombs. Now these back chests of escape really matter if there's the first glove in there. If not, then getting the bombs usually won't hurt you too much. But if that first glove is locked behind there and you don't get bombs, it is painful.
Well, there's the map.
In this case, you almost wish that you never got bombs, that you never had to go check that terrible, terrible room.
Yeah, part of it, but then you're, also thinking you have that peace of mind, because if you don't have the bombs, then it's sitting there in the back of your mind the whole time.
Yeah, it's definitely not something you could go the whole race skipping, but when you get one like that, you're just like, I wish I'd never had to see this.
Yes, definitely. But Sanctuary Chest is going to have just a piece of art. So we got... we got a few major... I was going to say, we got a few major items in Escape, but nothing major that gave us progression early on so far.
Yeah, both canes have their own progression markers tied to them, but neither of them are really important this early.
Heartsize the tier 2 tree pole, it looks like.
Bush crab dropping 5 rupees. Looks like both of these two are actually going to be going up here and checking lumberjack.
Looked like a heart container. Oh, nope, red bottle.
So, Aghanim probably not required for that unless the bottle locations are all locked behind Sick Kid.
And if Sick Kid has progression. Well, there's
there's
first
a glove.
gloves.
There's a little bit of progression. That opens up a couple things right away.
And a fire rod.
Okay, that's weapon number 5 covered. We're just missing the hammer, the bow, and the one I can't think of at the moment, apparently. Oh, wait, that's 5 of the 7 uncle weapons we've got covered. So, yeah, just the hammer and bow that we haven't seen yet out of those.
Yep, and the nice thing about that 8 bomb drop they got in Hyrule Castle is you don't need to go buy bombs to get through Kakariko. You can just go right through it normally.
Yep, it's always interesting to see how people route Kakariko without the bombs to begin with, but it's nice on the running side to just be able to do stuff the nice and straightforward way, even when Blind's Hut has nothing but a Moon Pearl.
Yeah, and a bunch of bombs, so even if they didn't get that 8 bomb drop there, they had all the bombs they needed right there.
With that Moon Pearl, we're just a hammer or a glove away from Dark World access, so they're probably both pretty happy to be in that position.
Yep, not going to complain whatsoever about that, and hopefully not having to run Aga 1.
So, hammer on the Sick Kid with all the bottles in the Dark World.
Got some powder there.
Some more money in case, they want to buy a bottle twice from a bottle vendor, and more money.
And flippers.
So those flippers put Zora in logic, and all that money makes it a lot easier to check without having to go around farming rupees. That's pleasant. Hey!
And Bottle Merchant gives you 200 rupees.
And you get to teach someone else a life lesson for once.
Yeah, and actually Zora was already in logic because of the gloves, so... Flippers just puts rest locations in logic at that point.
So yeah, I think at that 717 mark after the bottle vendor, they're actually set for rupees the rest of the run. Anything beyond this is just stuff they can use on safeties without really worrying at all.
Yeah, pretty much at that point. I think they need, I want to say it's 720 at this point, because it's 110 to get into pod. I believe the chess game is 30 rupees, and is digging game 80, or is it 70?
Yeah, it's 80.
Okay, so yeah, a little bit more, but I'm sure they're gonna find that.
Meanwhile, an hour later, they're both desperately searching for 3 more rupees.
Yep, so it's just 20 rupees up on library and piece of heart on the race game, so gonna skip both of those. One, because we don't have boots, but
And the Zaza is going to make the standard play of going down the South Shore. I'm guessing Makinx will probably follow right along there.
yeah, and I'm sure, you know, after this, they're probably both gonna check flipper locations at that point too.
Yet the early games, sometimes you're going to see divergence, but usually these early checks are pretty in sync between both sides of a race. Drain the dam out and hopefully get something of interest.
It's just another piece of heart.
Half of a heart locked behind the dam.
Another 8 bomb drop.
This seed sure loves its bombs.
It does, and we'll see. Got 5 locations here in the mini Moldorm cave. Ooh, gets a nice double kill with the fire rod.
Yet the strongest strength of the fire rod, the ability to double kill. 21 bucks so far, a little bit of love. Plastic shield, and a Titan's Mitt.
Yep, well, there's Dark World.
Yep, and not the best Dark World access. You usually prefer to get the hammer because it opens up more convenient and more varied places, but Mid is pretty nice on its own, right?
It is, but they also have flippers, so technically everything Dark World related is accessible with the exception of Death Mountain.
And the Pyramid Fairy check, if that
Yep.
becomes a possibility.
Hobo's got silvers.
Why does this dude sleeping under the bridge have the silver arrows? That seems unfair.
He is the Link of another age, and he's killed Ganon before.
So what you're saying is he's a Link from the past?
Yes.
Race Rod Cave, also with an arrow-based item, but this time just capacity. Can't speak for anyone else though, but I do like finding a few of those capacity upgrades early before I have the bow, just so I can start building up arrows before I even have a chance to start spending them.
Yeah, and then you don't have to worry about, you know, the potential of running out, but with silvers, chance of that happening are pretty slim at that point anyways. But we did find one of our other bottles, so the chance of needing Aga for the bottle is very slim at this point. Because we really just need to find a mirror.
And then the sick kid is laying there in bed, just staring at his own reflection, just waiting.
Yeah, with the other bottles at what, like the cave south of the Grove and Graveyard Ledge. Because why not?
That'd be amazing to see that happen in a seed that wasn't a Plando, because I'm sure somebody's made that happen in a Plando before. Or
if they haven't, they've thought about it now.
I'm sorry for the horrors I've released on those who play Plandos.
Get a mushroom and $20 in the Waterfall of Wishing.
And we already have the powder, so they don't even have to worry about, do I turn in the mushroom or do I save it for when I have magic bat access? They can just turn it right in.
$300 up on Zora's Ledge.
If you didn't have enough money, here, I'm going to make sure you got it covered. I suppose offering 60% of the cost of your sale is viable when you usually just teach life lessons by giving back, 1%.
That's where Zora keeps the money, see? But yep, Zora with the life lesson.
No randomizer player would have ever guessed that Zora would be teaching a life lesson.
I think the bottle merchant and Zora were in on it together.
They might have been. You might be giving the bottle vendor that 200 cut there. So, Asazas at least headed straight over to the Dark World portal over here. I'm thinking Makinx is headed the same route.
Yeah, because at this point, all you have in Light World, and part of it's out of sequence, would be you could go up Death Mountain if you really want to check the little bit you have access to there. Other than that, you'd be going over to the eastern area. And crystals, let's see, we've got 5 in Swamp, and our pendants are Thieves Town and Pod.
Oh, the pendant Thieves Town always is awful.
I mean, I called pendants on Eastern and Pod.
You did. So now, instead of being nice and getting the bow early, how about the bows waiting in GT?
I was gonna say, yeah, yeah, it could happen. It would be mean, but could totally happen. That does happen, it's not my fault. I didn't say bow and GT, I said bow at Uncle, so complete opposite.
I will take full responsibility. We get kind of conflicting checks here. Asazas is going up to Skull Woods, which I'm guessing he's going to plan to full clear, despite relatively low health still. And Makinx is dipping into Pendant Thieves Town, seeing what he can get there.
It'll be interesting to see if Makinx decides to leave Thieves Town after checking the first 4. Depending on how many items he finds, which he hasn't found anything yet. He's only found the key and the big key so far.
Yep, and Asazas, despite having access to all of Skull Woods, decided to dip out of there pretty much immediately after those first few chests. I can't blame him for not wanting to ultra low percent Mothula, but there was at least 2 more chests they had access to without having to fight the moth yet.
Okay, well, there's one of our bottles, so Aga is pretty much off the table at this point. Actually, Aga 1's dead, because Swamp is one of the 5-6 crystals, so Hammer can't be there.
Yep, no Aghanim hype today. But these pedestal dungeons are, relatively non-restrictive, so that's still alive and well. We also get some literacy, so we might be able to figure out if it's a thing.
Yes.
I still want to know what kind of magical book just makes you literate by holding it.
I know, I want a book like that.
It would come in so much handy.
So I'm gonna go to another country. It's like, I can't speak their language, give me this book. Okay. I know how to speak now.
Now I'm just picturing that book as being like Neo from The Matrix, except instead of I know Kung Fu, it's I know Hylian.
Yeah, that would work.
Makinx headed over here to the digging game. Somewhere within 30 digs, he's going to get an item. It might not be valuable.
I think, what, 18 digs for 3 bombs?
Yeah, right around there, and definitely doesn't feel worthwhile. I'm going to come up here and grab the blacksmith before heading on the South Dark World tour. And also, Asaza has also taken the Death Warp out of Thieves Town after the first 4.
Yeah, which I don't blame either runner, because they found that early small key. Even if you go to the back and clear this dungeon, there's a chance you're leaving an item behind in that big chest, and that's not something you want to do, especially with the pendant dungeon, because you'd have to run all the way back there. And if there's something there at that point and your opponent decides not to do it, it's going to put you behind.
Yeah, definitely feels awful. Stumpy was joining in on the small money returns and giving away a big 20.
Yep, and next is going to be Hype Cave.
I'm gonna guess this is gonna be like a 2 out of 10 Hype Cave.
I'm going to go 4 out of 10.
I
Okay.
already lose.
Yep, we both lost.
Get a mirror, a big 20, another big 20, another big 20, and a hook shot. So I give that like a 7 or 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I give that an 8 out of 10. Mirror and hook shot.
And now the sequence break up Death Mountain is a lot more attractive as well, because you got all of Light World and Dark World Death Mountain available to you.
Yeah, and easy to do it all, especially with the mirror now, so. And I think Makinx is probably going to turn the smith in and probably do that at this point.
Yeah, it can give you some great information, especially if you find lamp up there, then you know flute isn't locked behind any dark rooms or anything on the mountain. That can be nice information to have.
Yeah, also it puts hair within logic too, so that's, you know, a crystal dungeon that they can full clear that needs to be done. But yeah, they just, only thing they really can't do there is they can check the tablet, won't be able to get the item on the tablet unless they find another sword up there and they don't have access to Spike Cave just yet.
And the smiths are smithing a boomerang these days, and the better of the 2 boomerangs.
But yeah, technically a lot of Death Mountain's not within logic, though. We can do it, but most of it's out of logic right now, unless we would find a lamp or a flute at some point in the near future.
Yep, but as expected, Makinx doesn't care about the logic, says, nope, I'm going up here, this is a lot of item locations to check.
Yeah, this is one of those sequence breaks. It's a really large sequence break, but there's just too many items up here at this point to just say no.
Ooh, and Chad pointing out a good point. While Makinx was dropping off the smith, he didn't go ahead and check that sick kid item.
That is true.
Starting off with Old Man with a big 20. Just a small little tip, you know, you saved my life, thanks, here's what's in my pocket. So let's see, we got that item, we got the 2 up here at Spectacle Rock, 2 in Hera, that's 5. We got 8 on East Death Mountain for 13, and another 6 in Dark World Death Mountain. And there's the bow.
There's the bow. Actually, it'd be 7. Well, more because there's Floating Island too. So 1 more location.
Oh yeah, I did forget Floating Island. Here's our sick kid check, and it is a big 20.
Just a big 20.
So even if Makin forgets sick kid forever, it won't hurt him in the least.
Well, at the least the runners can't curse you for putting the bow in GT at this point.
And we get a swag neck on Ether, which I doubt either of these two will ever go back and pick up.
But that's required for swagging them.
That's true. If it were me, I would want to go back and pick it up. But, you know, these guys have a race going on, they want to win, and I don't know.
Alright, well, we've got the big key in the first location in Hare, which is probably the best place to find it.
Definitely a lot better than the basement.
And we find our first item there as well, so good chance we might not need to go basement.
So far, the only thing we know is that either the lamp or the flute are not locked behind bow from the sequence break, which isn't super helpful because the bow locks a stupidly low amount of locations.
Yeah, and I mean, depending, it could lock a decent amount if pod is bow locked, but if pod's not bow locked, it, you know, what locks 2 locations, which I think is just Helmet Sword King and Armos Knights.
It's really silly that the first item you get in the vanilla game has so few uses, but that hammer right there that you get much later has a ton of uses.
It does, and that's probably the best place to find it, because now you can just hammer your way over there instead of having to drop down and hookshot over, which kind of helps a little bit.
Yep, and you can also hammer your dear friend Trolldorm up to the top of the tower here, which is much easier than the fighter sword fight.
That is also true. Which I'm going to actually say at this point, Hype Cave was 10 out of 10, because that means Hype Cave led to hammer and bow.
Yeah, and that's just the start of it, since the hookshot was in there too, and we're going to see what's on East Death Mountain with that, and it might even surpass 10 out of 10.
It could. Trolldorm has a small key, but we know we don't have to go to the basement anyways.
But how will they know where the boss is if they don't go down and get whichever remains of the map and compass?
Oh, Makinx deciding, because this is available now. He is checking Spike Cave.
Yeah, I like the play, getting this out of the way while you're over here. Don't have to try to route it in after Dark Death Mountain or anything. Works out pretty well.
It does, and especially, you know, you're going to be checking everything else on Death Mountain. At this point, you check the tablet. If you wouldn't have been able to do this, this would have been a location pretty much all on its own at this point. But nothing important.
And I guess the other factor to consider there is that I know some people feel like the item that you get from Uncle tends to block some kind of progression at some point. So in the case of Brian, it's either that or Laser Bridge that it would be pointing you to in that respect.
Yeah, it's very possible. Boom goes Dynamite. The bracket was random. They actually did it was just a single person running a seed on Thursday evening and had all 128 names just kind of mixed up. And that's how it was determined, was kind of the order that they got pulled.
Yep, and it was a little bit different than past ones. It wasn't first name faces second name, but first name was seed 1, last name was seed 128, and the brackets were generated according to that.
Yeah. Yeah, Thalfon, technically we could clear all of the actual pendant dungeons, but it's not within logic just yet until we find a lamp.
Paradox Cave with a small heart and a big heart.
5 more chests, though. Plenty more.
Now, your hope as a runner who knows dark rooms is to find the flute up here. You get the ice rod, that's pretty nice. Also, no, we don't have any medallions yet, so Tier Rock can't be clearable yet.
Yeah, but that's the only thing we're missing for Turtle Rock now.
Yeah, it could be interesting to see if either of them would try to make the play in there with the fighter sword and such low health that they get the medallion on the way over here.
Yeah, and something else kind of interesting at this point, depending on medallions and Desert Palace, how it's laid out, we could be only a medallion, a sword, and flute from Go mode, technically.
Yeah, it's definitely given them most of what they need already, so it'll be down to how long does the last couple items troll. There's the sword part.
Yeah, there's the sword part, so now we're 2, potentially 2 at least.
I think the highest it could be at this point is 4 if you need the boots for desert and you need 2 medallions for the 2 dungeons.
Yep, that would be correct. And we're going to find out what Turtle Rock is at the very least.
Vanilla Quack.
That Quack medallion.
And just a heart piece on the floating island, so that's not important.
Donator, we don't know if Desert Palace is boots locked yet. Nobody's been in there. Alright, Hookshot Cave.
Starting out pretty weak. And ending up real bad.
Yep, nothing important.
So now the question is, where do you head next if you're one of these runners after you do Spiral Cave here?
Well, at this point, really nothing got opened up. You found some major items up here, for sure. But nothing really major got opened up with the exception of Bombos Tablet. Was really the only thing that got opened up. Finding the bow, you've got the bow and the hammer. I'd almost be tempted to go, well, you need a lamp, but pod area? Because right now you kind of got to look at areas before you could even come up here. It either has to have a lamp or a flute, really, at this point.
Yeah, either of those could be decent. Swamp Palace did unlock with the hammer, but if the flute was your Death Mountain access, that's going to be potentially nothing valuable. They do have Skull Woods and Ice Palace both full clearable as well.
Yeah, desert's open. We don't know if it's clearable, but it potentially could be clearable.
And Mackin remembering he hasn't checked the sick kid. Let's see, heading up this way kind of makes me think maybe headed to make that Skull Woods play clear out Mothula.
Yeah, it's a lot better. You know, you've got 11 hearts, a Master Sword instead of Fighter's Sword. Still can be a rough fight, but much easier than what they were at first time in the Dark World.
Yeah, absolutely, and Mothula is not a fun boss, because sometimes you can hit him 20 times and do 3 hits worth of damage.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Makinx decides to do after Skullwoods, though.
Seems a little bit confused on how he wants to route through this dungeon. Yeah, there's
Oh, yeah.
the big key.
Yeah, there's a big key. And yeah, Ranger Void brought up he could do a ped check when he's done with Skull Woods.
Yep, and with all 3 pendant dungeons full clearable, it's probably a good idea to do so.
Yeah, they're full clearable, but just not within logic. We still would need the lamp first. But when you're only looking for a couple items at this point, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and for most any runner who's made it into the brackets, if you have the fire rod and don't need the lamp as a fire source, lamp is kind of an afterthought.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure at this point in the tournament, everybody, most of the racers, if not all of them, are completely comfortable with any dark room they could find out.
That's the first item we've seen out of Skull Woods in all this time. It's a piece of heart.
Which I think Mothula has to have it then, doesn't he?
Yeah, I believe so, because that big chest, I believe there's one small key left to be found, and Mothula can't lead to a small key. All because of that one stupid room right up there that serves no purpose, is just in the game and locked behind a key because reasons.
That was a nice magic drop to find right before Mothula.
Yes, it was, and Asazas has a little bit of a problem here when it comes to magic. If he uses magic well, he'll have enough to get through the torch puzzle here, but he's gonna have to be pretty conservative.
Yeah, and Mothula was being really nice there.
Well done on the torches there. I think it would have been a little bit easier to use the silver arrows like Makin did, but...
Oh, yeah, and Mothula did have our last item. It was the Tempered Sword. Oh, he gets grabbed trying to go back for that full magic.
Pedestal Dream is dead. That wall master grab hurts though, not just because of you were right outside Mothula's door, but you also now have a tiny little sliver of magic yet again.
Oh, he did. He's gonna go back and grab that, I think. Oh, nope, disappeared.
Yeah, that was a super tile transition, so the drop wasn't going to stick around through that one. Oh dear lord, Asazas. The Gibdos are hungry. They're hungry for your blood.
They were.
At least they aren't nearly as horrifying as the Ocarina of Time Gibdos.
Yeah, I don't think anybody likes those Skiptos.
I don't think so, and if they do, I'm concerned for them. Mac, I'm gonna go over here and check the hammer pegs, which they were not able to check earlier. I'm guessing probably grab purple chest while he's up this way too.
Yeah, and if he wants to, could also check Magic Bat.
True, that powder from ages ago may come in handy.
Just bombs. Alright. But he does get Mothula down with no fire. Gets his Tempered Sword and second crystal.
I do have to say it's rude for Mothiel to have a sword upgrade. Both these guys had some pretty good fights against Mothiel, though. Spike glitching aside, they handled the situation quite well. That boss can go very wrong very quick.
Yeah, especially with green mail. I mean, the spikes don't care about the damage, but Mothula himself can do 2 hearts of damage when you're at green, so. But Makinx, he skipped magic bad.
He did, and the asazas never went over that way, so we're gonna be in a bit of a mystery on that for a while. Oh, is he making the Ice Palace play? I think he's making the Ice Palace play.
I think yeah, this is the only thing he could be doing.
That is a bold move, but I like it. That half magic that Makin just got would have been really, really great for Ice Palace, though.
Yeah, it would be, especially with no bombos. You have to have a full magic meter at this point to be able to kill Cold Stare.
Unless you've practiced the sword beam damage glitch, which can make it only take 4 shots, but not many people can do that consistently.
Yep, and just a green rupee on Bombo, so Makinx is going to check the desert ledge. We'll see if he goes in the desert. Looks like he's going to.
So he finally got some kind of major diverging. Oh. Hey, there's Bombos.
Well, that's a good place to find it.
It is, and far better than the opposite of finding Fire Rod in here when you have Bombos. But yeah, this is kind of, I think, the first case of major divergence these two have had. With them choosing kind of thematically opposite dungeons on top of very different spots.
But desert is boots locked.
It's a good bit of information to have. That BMOS was actually quite nice, just giving him an actual boost directly in the direction he wanted to go.
And that was a very quick setup on the Ice Palace bomb jump.
And here comes a Gina check, which we have not seen yet. Gina does have around like a 17% chance of having progression, but it's very rarely checked early.
Well, a heart container is not progression, though.
Getting the small key there, Azaza is going to head right back upstairs and go check the chests on the right side.
Yep, which I like, because 3 chests really quick to check at this point. And Makinx is going to be making the other interesting play. He's going to Swamp.
I also like that play. Kind of both Ice and Swamp are the places that you don't think your opponent is going to go. So if you go there first and there's something important there, you take a lead.
See, this would be interesting, is if Flute is sitting inside Swamp, and then Misery Mire is Bombos.
That would be kind of entertaining. Hey, those are nice to have, and also required for desert.
Yep, so Ice Palace, definitely a play that needed to be made. You are not going to be go-moding this dungeon whatsoever.
Now gonna make his way over to the iced tea room as Makin gets going here in Swamp, checking this first chest. Compass not all that useful.
Nope, and pretty sure at that, and a cape, which I don't believe there was anything on Bumper Cave, so not important, but nice safety to have.
Yep, you're not usually going to complain about finding the cape unless it's very early and you're thinking that it means you have to go to Ganon.
Yes. Just like the lamp. I'll take the lamp any day so I don't have to do dark rooms, but that's after I don't have to do Ega 1 anymore.
Now, of course, Ice Palace did not put us back in logic unless... No, actually, I think that all the items were in chests that were not hammerlocked, now that I think about it.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
So one downside of the Death Mountain sequence breaks when you get everything open is it's very hard to keep track of all those sequence breaks. Ooh, Cold Sear got out of the corner really quick and did a lot of damage very quick.
If it's 4 hearts of damage when you're on green mail.
I don't know why hogs from Giant Cotton Candy hurt so much, but they really hurt.
Yes, they do, but still don't think we found anything important in Swamp just yet.
Now, this is a regular crystal, so that small key there is irrelevant. If it was a 5-6 crystal, it would have told us that Pyramid Fairy couldn't have the Cane of Samaria, but that doesn't apply here.
Yep, and we already had Cane of Samaria, so...
That's true. That's true.
Have to say, Asazas might be doing the same thing. Might be going to Swamp. Yeah, he is also making the Swamp play now.
Yep, I'm somewhat surprised that he didn't make the play up to check the Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb before this, since those are 2 very quick checks.
Yeah, and it's neither runner has done this, and you know, some of the locations are out of logic because of no lamp, but the eastern pod area has yet to be checked at all. Even just eastern and Sahasrara. There's a lot of items there that could be well within sequence that have been available since pretty much the beginning of the game.
Yeah, it's always a pain to try to decide when do I start diving pendant dungeons when I got clearable crystals, but Eastern and Sahasrara especially are so early available.
Yes, Mushroom still hasn't been turned in either. Nor has Magic Bat been checked.
Yep, skipping the fake powder item and the real powder's reward. It says that it's going to have a much nicer time with Swamp Palace with the boots, moving through the shallow water a little bit quicker. And he'll be able to avoid the stair glitch that is inevitably going to be coming up soon if Big Key is in the flooded chest. Get a heart container and the ether medallion. So we got Misery Mire covered if it's a different medallion from T-Rock, but it might not be required.
Yeah, it could be Quake. Still need to find that flute.
So Quake coming up soon, and then Flute on Laser Bridge.
I mean, I think if you're SSS, as soon as you get the flute, you go to Misery Mire area to check to see what its requirement is.
Well, he's going to be getting Ether soon. He's going to have the 2 medallions that are on Quake, and he already knows he needs Quake, so I wouldn't put that as a super high priority. I assume he's going to be headed to do Bombo's Tablet and then over to Desert here after this. And that'll leave him with all his crystals completed, and that might be when we see that Pod Eastern Palace play. Pretty quick Argus kill by Makinx. He is going to go back in for that big chest. He's not willing to gamble that location.
Which I don't blame him. I think just coming here, you know, the locations you have, I think him thinking this, it's like, I need to go somewhere I don't think my opponent's going to. And, you know, Swamp and Ice are, like you said earlier, those are kind of those locations you're going to think, if I go here, find something important, I feel pretty good about how my position at that point, but you're not going to gamble leaving an item in here if you do that.
Says going for the NMG poke dash quick kill, but got knocked out of it after about 3 puffs, just went to slashes.
Yep, that big chest only having 50 rupees though. And I think Makinx is going to make the play to Ice now.
Yep, these two literally just did the exact same thing as each other in the opposite order. Makinx from Desert to Swamp to Ice, and asazas presumably from Ice to Swamp to Desert.
Yeah, which will be interesting, because SSS's routing might be a little bit better with that if there's something important in Desert outside of just the crystal. Because he can full clear.
Yep, and once he does clear it, that's going to open up that Pyramid Fairy, so that could be where Flute or Quake are hiding at.
Yes, that's true, but if Flute is there, that means that Lamp has to be accessible right now, though. Because technically, right now, Pyramid Fairy would be out of sequence.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, everything we found on Death Mountain so far is still, and anything that's led to is still completely out of sequence.
And as a note worth mentioning, I guess, asazas did save a little bit of time there by not going back in for that big chest after getting the big key off of Argus. Okay, checks his map, gets his bearings on where he's got to go.
TNT 175, they have not been into the eastern area whatsoever. Sahasrah's still closet is open, eastern, pod, all of that is still not been checked.
I'm gonna laugh when they finally go over there and the Flute, the Lamp, and Quake are all in Sahasrah's closet.
It's like, you know, you could have been in go mode this whole time, by the way.
So we're down to the big chest and Landmolus for the second item in Desert. Kind of waiting to see how Mack and routes Ice Palace. If Yep, he's gonna route it a little bit differently than Asazas did.
Alright, so that's second item out of desert, just the blue mail, so nothing progression-wise, but probably not going to say no to blue mail at the very least.
Yep, especially on Classic Link Sprite with the wonderful banana hat.
Everybody loves the banana hat.
Still not sure I understand the color variants for the hats of the later armor upgrades in this game, but I appreciate them. Makin moving pretty quickly through ice is going to be getting his boots here very soon. So, knowing that we've got limited places, you kind of got to make that eastern area check at this point, right?
Yes, I mean, I really don't think there's anywhere. I mean, they've got pyramid, catfish, mushroom. Neither runners check magic bat, and then it's really that eastern area. That was a very clean kill on Lanmo with the zero cycle.
That was getting those quick kills with the silver arrows is so good.
I guess one more thing that's available that both runners have, and I just forgot about this, there are still items in Thieves Town as well. Both runners opted to leave after picking up those first 4 chests.
That's very true, and wouldn't be that bad to have to double dip back in there after the first 4.
No, I think you would head to the eastern area before thinking about double dipping for, I believe, 2 items.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. I think we saw 2 of them in the front 4.
Yep, and Asas he's gonna check the Fat Fairy first, and then probably, check Pod Eastern area after that, because he'll be right there. Like I said, really not many areas other than that.
The only downside of a non-Aghanim seed, can't take the shortcut to the pyramid.
Yeah, that's about the only bad part.
Makin getting a very, very clean kill on Colts there.
Yep, kept him in the corner. So we'll see what he decides to do now, because he could go back to desert and clear that out. But we'll find out.
I'd say, given what he's got left, that's probably the most reasonable play for him to make.
It was just a bomb bag upgrade on the pyramid, but what's Fat Fairy got for us? Just some rupees.
$70.
Yep, looks like Makinx is going to make the play back into desert.
Oh yeah, there's one set of locations I'm still surprised neither of them have, or that Asazas in particular hasn't checked. The Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb that I guess could be coupled with Graveyard Ledge as well.
Yeah, I forgot about those too. Those locations haven't been checked.
And this is why I'm a firm proponent of always checking those locations as soon as you get boots, because if you don't, then a little while later you tend to just assume they're done.
shovel. Fetch quest.
So it could be important, but not necessarily.
So, I wonder if he's going to check Eastern before a pod, because I would understand going in a pod it has more items, but if it's a Bollock dungeon, then pretty much the entire dungeon's out of sequence at that point, which means you might not find the lamp or the flute, and you could find Quake in here, but a chance of finding a lamp or a flute could be relatively low.
Yeah, he's gonna go into Eastern first, which I definitely think is the better of the two plays.
Yeah, for sure.
It's always so nice to run through this dungeon. They put so many convenient straightaways in with the boots that you aren't supposed to be able to have in time for it.
Yeah, and finding that big key first is one of the best places for it, because potentially all 3 items in here could be available that are fully within logic if nothing's locked behind the lamp.
First item is just 20 bucks. That doesn't really help him.
Nope. But yeah, and I do expect him to clear the dungeon because this is green pendant as well.
Yeah, I'd be surprised to not bother, and if he didn't bother clearing it. And a piece of heart for item number 2. So far, so not great. Well, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. Yep, there's 20 bucks.
Yeah, the only bright side to that is the fact that you don't need to go check the vanilla big key chest.
Yeah, it's a little benefit. Making use of that torch in the corner there to make that room very free instead of having to do it in the dark.
And Makinx getting a very quick 0 cycle on Lanmolis as well.
And over on Asaza's side, we're about to see a boss that was never intended to be fought this way, but makes it so nice.
Signal C, only the first 4 chests on both runners' side has been checked. I don't know, I think as a runner right now, or as a SAS, if I would go into pod and check it. If I find out that pod is bow-locked, I would almost just leave the dungeon at that point. Because the chance of progression there is very low.
Yeah, still not knowing if you needed flute or lamp to get up to Death Mountain, it would be probably better to try to go in the direction the seed actually wanted you to go back then.
It's not bow-locked though. Bow was on Death Mountain, it was on Spectacle Rock. And yes, Pedestal's dead.
Pedestal is... well, Pedestal's not dead. There's still the flute.
No, they checked Pedestal, it was Couch Cash.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's my... I was planning to go to sleep before signing up for this race talking. So, pod could still be bow-locked in terms of the back. You gotta do a little bit of key counting to be sure of that. Asaza is doing the route that I like to take when I'm trying to reason out a bow lock of making sure to check everything using keys in the lowest possible return manner. Finds out that the back is not bow locked and decides to go to the right in case there's something here.
Yeah, I mean, I would do this too, because at least check to see if it's bow locked, because the moment you find out it's bow locked, then you have to think. But Makinx is going to be making, hopefully, remembers the mushroom. Oh, nope, he hook shots across. Oh, he's going to go check Graveyard Ledge and the boost locations.
Yep, I like getting these checks, although I would say I probably would have gone over and checked Catfish before coming this way. A piece of art in the worst location in the game, Graveyard Ledge. Now for the long-awaited boots checks.
There's a key there.
Bomb upgrade.
There's the Uncle Bombs. And another key.
So
Alright, so
3 keys at the end of that. Harmless Hallway should have an item.
yep, it will. Just a compass, so everything else is lamp locked then.
Okay, it's interesting to me that Makinx checked the King's Tomb, but not the regular bonk rocks.
Yeah, a little interesting, so we'll see.
The long-awaited mushroom holding just a big 20.
And I did not catch that item screen as he picked it up. It was something we couldn't see.
I believe it was the big key.
There's red mail. Yep.
So, Pod pretty much a bust. He's gonna go check Helmasaur, who does have an item. There's the lamp!
There's the lamp, though. Okay, now we're in sequence again.
Yep, which means that Helmasaur could be the progression, and that's pretty much all it means.
Yeah, Helmasaur could have our flute. Could have Quake. That's all we're looking for is flute and Quake.
And $5 out of the bonk rocks, so neither of the boots checks paying off.
Yeah, I think he's gonna check Magic Bat. But finding the lamp, that does mean Sahasrahla is green. That green pendant could very well be something important too.
Yeah, that's a good point, and we're going to be seeing that turned in pretty soon here, I'm sure. Okay, Magic Bat, another check that's been put off for quite a while. What does it have today?
Just the red shield.
I mean, at least it makes the shield minorly useful. Makin, going into Dark World here, where are you headed?
I'm trying to figure that out myself.
Oh, probably going up to pod, gonna mirror over on the way into Sasralazad.
Yep, he's gonna make that play now. Alright, well, what does Helmsroy King have, though?
Big 20.
Piece of heart.
Yeah, it's pretty much worth a big 20. When you're sitting at 14 hearts in red mail, piece of heart is one of the last things you really care to see.
You know, I think Green Pendant is gonna have something.
I'm thinking so. We don't have a whole lot of other options here.
I actually don't think we have any other options between the two runners. Well, Shovel, that's right. We still have Shovel. We could have Vanilla Flute.
And I think the shovel is the right answer here.
Oh, and Thieves Town. Those are our locations right now.
I just don't want Thieves Town to be the answer, so I'm really going to root for Shovel.
Yeah, and I think you'll check Shovel before that, even. There's no reason to go into Thieves Town. Yes, there's 2 items there, but Shovel's one, depending on how you route, it's going to be a quicker check anyways. But, you know, SS not having done boots, he's going to do boots, so we'll see if he goes into Thieves Town or goes and checks the Shovel location first. Also catfish and mushrooms, so he's going to get his lamp.
We're going to get that lamp, realize that he's back in logic. He can do anything that he wants, and it'll be what the game expects him to be able to do. And if the answer does end up being Thieves Town, it really illustrates why I hate Pendant Thieves Town. Because if you dip it early in those first 4 and there's nothing there, you don't go back for a long time, and if there's something in the back, it's a big loss. But if you dip it all the way through early and there's nothing there, then it's also a big loss. There's no winning with Pendant Thieves Town.
Yeah, especially, like I said, I don't blame either runner for noping out and not having the hammer, because the chance, especially finding the key as early as you did, you've got that very high chance that you're going to need the hammer. And then going to the back twice. At that point, you know more than likely you're losing time because your opponent's not going to do that.
Yes, now it's just a question of, does he make the shovel play or the Thieves Town play first? But one of the two has to pay off.
Yeah, we have to find either the Quake medallion or the flute in one of those 3 locations.
There aren't even any fetch quests left to make evil plans about what could happen with.
Nope, no fetch quests remain.
I'm legitimately not sure why he took that route through the graveyard. That seemed much more confusing.
Yeah, it did a little bit, but that's how he routed it, so.
Going to find out himself, the boots were just a pleasant item to help you beat Desert. They didn't unlock anything besides the crystal.
Yep, 14 hearts in red mail, you're not picking up any heart pieces. I think even with green mail, you're probably not picking those up.
Yeah, especially when you got the tempered swords, you aren't doing ultra low percent bosses. 14 hearts is already over what NMG ends up with, so it's usually pretty safe.
Yes, Spike Cave was checked. I believe it was just a big 20 if I remember right.
So where do you head next? It's looking like Thieves Town with him returning to Dark World here.
I believe he hasn't checked Magic Bat, which we know there isn't anything there, but he might check some overworld locations first. He hasn't done the purple chest either. He's missing half magic still. So he might be doing some overworld checks before, but nope, looks like he's gonna dive to Thieves.
It is a bold play, but most of those checks he does have left are pretty slow checks. This is a lot quicker to check 2 items.
Yeah, which if I'm not mistaken, I think if you don't find the item here and the progression is on the shovel, none of the pendant dungeons even had to be dipped into.
That would be kind of entertaining if these two both did an all dungeons clear and it wasn't actually required for any of the pendants.
So I'm trying to think. Eastern, I know we didn't find anything important. Thieves Town first one was the bottle, which didn't lead to anything. Yeah, the shovel was, yeah. There's been nothing major in any of the pendant dungeons so far.
There's item number 3.
Yep, so only one item left in Thieves Town.
Will the answer be the funniest one and just be the shovel?
I think it's going to be. Just because of how long the shovel's actually been available.
I could definitely see shovel to flute and then Quake sitting in the mire shed.
Well, yeah, because, you know, if chat, you want the most amount of troll for your value, nothing's more troll than vanilla.
And yes, both runners did check pedestal while they were clearing out Skull Woods. They're both aware there's nothing there.
Just a map. So 50% chance we're going to find the item here, or it's on blind.
I want to see it on blind just so that they get all 3 pendants.
Yeah, so do I. Oh, there's Quake. Alright,
Quake
so
has been obtained, and I think now it's straight up to Death Mound, or straight up to T-Rock.
I could see that, but at the same time, I think I would have went and checked the shovel location first. Because if you find the flute there, you know you're in go mode. And, you know, potential skipping laser bridge, all that other fun stuff.
Yeah, it would definitely be a little bit of a tough call, because on one hand, it is a pretty quick check for the shovel. On the other hand, you know, you feel like, oh, if my opponent went through Thieves Town right away, they've had this forever, they're already through T-Rock, got whatever's there.
Yeah, because that does mean that Turtle Rock's been accessible since the first time they technically were up there, before they even had the lamp. This has been in logic for quite a while. If you look at the location of all the items.
Yep, and when you get an early accessible T-Rock, it usually always has something, which may have helped inform the decision to skip the shovel.
But yeah, at this point, all we are looking for is the flute. And at this point, it has to either be in Turtle Rock or it's at the shovel.
I hope it's as far in as it can be, so you get that little bit of worry as you keep going deeper of, oh dear, is the flute not here?
And just put it on Trinex, why not?
That's true. Trinex would also be a pretty good spot for it. I feel like especially for asazas, he's got a few more overworld checks that haven't been made. That's kind of where his lead is coming from. So if he starts to get further without finding the flute, he's going to be a little bit more nervous than Makin will be at the same point.
Yeah, we know Bugnet's location is on the ether tablet.
Poor Swagneck, stuck in the sky forever. Okay, the important chest of, can you do anything special with Go mode in this dungeon? You could.
Yep, there's the potential to skip Laser Bridge right now.
And Makin getting his 300 bucks off Salasrala. He did not go kill Helmosaur. That's a little bit of a time save there.
No, he killed Helmosaur. I remember him going down to the Dark Turtle room. So I'm almost positive he killed him.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I believe that's correct.
I mean, we'll see soon because he's going to pull the shovel out, so we'll see his item screen. Yep, he killed him. Nope, just
Hey,
the red
there's a red
meringue.
meringue.
So that means Flute is in here.
See, now I want Makin to eventually grab that item off the ether tablet so we can have a nice full tracker by the end.
Except for Ego 1. And Thieves Town.
Yeah, with that not being the flute down there, I think it's pretty safe to say that asazas is in a commanding lead right now.
Yeah, he has a good lead right now at this point. It's probably going to be about a full Turtle Rock clear. Just a bomb upgrade, so a few more locations in Turtle Rock.
The flute's not here, we panic over potentially broken seed.
Yep, finding the key there. If the flute would not have been here, though, they would have been able to skip Laser Bridge.
Yep, very true. That always just makes you a little bit disappointed. And just a piece of heart gives a nicely timed health refill, but still not what he's looking for.
Nope, so 5 locations left here. We got 4 in Laser Bridge. One of those is going to be a key.
I'm gonna say the third chest of Laser Bridge will have the flute.
I'm going to just say Trinex. Just to make him sweat.
Small key in the first chest, the compass in the second.
Heart container. And Butter Sword. That means Trinex has the flute.
Yep, I mean, at least you get the nice little bonus of butter. doesn't make a huge difference, but it's nice for the try next fight. And Makin now has his Quake Medallion, is going to be heading up to T-Rock, so yeah, it's going to be just about an even T-Rock clear behind.
Yeah, oh, no.
Those Dead Rocks tried their best, but they got knocked away in right angle from each other.
And the very quick kill on Shrine X.
I wonder what this item will be. Oh look, it's the flute! That's such a surprise!
Yeah,
I never would have guessed.
Nobody called that.
So at about the 1 hour and 26 minute mark, Asazas has entered Go mode.
But first, has to go back to Kakariko Village.
Yep, gonna go awaken our dear feathered friend.
Yes, we found the flute. We might be in kind of Go mode. But it's not true Go mode until you have the Swag Duck.
Swag Duck Anthem giving a wonderful time as a commentator to take a drink.
Indeed.
So we're off to a very easy mire clear. Looks like Asazas did at least try to set up spooky action. I believe he did get the setup on that.
And it is Ether. Oh, I was gonna say it's Ether. He could. But he didn't.
We did get the full vanilla medallion seed. Now, Mire is the kind of dungeon where, go mode or not, you may just end up having to check every single chest in here.
It's a very nice
clear. Can we have a Godmire? Can the seed do something nice for once? Megan making his way through T-Rock, kind of in the simple, straightforward part of this dungeon.
Switch not cooperating, but no Godmire today. It's time to hunt for the big key.
So there are... Wait, why am I forgetting this from Key Sanity? There are what, 8 chests in Mire?
1, 2, 3, 7? 8 if you count. I think there's 7 chests and then 8 locations if you count Vitreous.
That's true, and that would leave 6 for the big key, so, you know, we could have a much easier version of the GT guessing game. And it's gonna be in the last chest he checks. Well, no, he still hasn't checked vanilla big key.
Was it a key in the vanilla or in the other location? Oh, okay. There's our big key.
Yeah, it was a heart piece in the spike room.
I wonder why he... Okay. Guess I see why he's going over here, but where he found the big key, I guess he could have just went a couple... Oh no, he didn't have a small key, that's right. He would have had to go get a small key.
Or just hover the bridges, take the easy way out. Okay, now if I'm right that he did try to set up this glitch, we should be seeing the first step of it here. Nope. Doing a little dash before putting the Samaria block down. So that preserves the altitude value that was set by the swag duck when he was fluting over here. Now if this is done right, when he shoots this fire out at the spike, it triggers the switch well above him, and makes it so he can just walk right through this next room, shoot an anti-fairy with the fire, and hit the switch again, and then he'll shoot one more fire rod shot in this room, and hit the switch above Vitreous's door, and boom, you're through in a much faster fashion than the intended way would give you.
Yep, you're not getting through any faster than that, I think.
I really enjoy that glitch, and I really enjoy the fact that part of the reason why it was discovered was due to people routing this game in such weird ways for rando that it just kind of happened.
Don't worry, everybody, though. This is a well-programmed game.
And that is our 7th crystal.
So I think it's time to walk up Death Mountain again and go to Ganon's Tower.
Yep, and that also means we got our usual game to play.
Yep, so everybody, time to get your guesses in. It's the Ganon Tower Big Key guessing game. Guess any location 1 to 22. And if you're a subscriber or you've donated at least 250 bits to the Speed Gaming network of channels, you have a chance to enter our leaderboard if you're the first one to guess it correctly.
So do you have a normal guess you usually make, or any particular guess for this scene?
I usually just kind of go random, but I'm going to go with... Let's go with 13.
That seems pretty reasonable. I usually go with 22 because I'm a monster.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it being there because the seed really hasn't been that bad to them so far.
It's weird to say that about a seed where both of them have pretty much full cleared the entire game. But yeah, it wasn't actually that mean of a seed. It didn't make you double dip stuff, it didn't make you double back. You just kind of gotta go through things.
Alright, if you haven't got your guess in, do it now, because as soon as he enters Ganon's Tower, we will close it up. But Makinx got his flute, killed Trinex. Now he's gonna go get his swag duck.
Chest 1 a small key, chest 2 a level 2 shield.
Which means Makinx will probably end up with the mirror shield.
Yep, very likely. And it says as making kind of the standard play these days. If you got a small key on the right side, go right. is sitting pretty low on magic, but hey, there's the big key, number 3. So GT was shockingly friendly, and the asazas is now headed up the tower.
Yeah. Only better one than that is the God GT, where you get big key in first or second chest, and the other one's a small key.
So our winner from the first sub or supporter to guess the key correctly was Carlito NSP. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And Asaza's giving out on the restock room here. Could have got his magic filled up nice and full right there, but shouldn't need to fill it all the way.
Yeah, even had the full magic drop there and still opted to skip it.
And still often skips his full magic when it dropped directly next to him. Okay, now with the third drop in the past 2 rooms, he finally picks one up.
I think the game was just like, you want full magic. Here, take it. No, seriously, take it. Okay. I'll take it.
Health is getting a little bit low, but he's through the dangerous part of Gauntlet. Slightly off on Land Molus, and short hop means he's going to a 3rd cycle.
Alright, gets him down though.
Makinx gonna make a, sadly, time-wasting decision to head straight down to Vanilla Big Key here.
I think that room is one of the best feelings in the world when you get that.
And that is, it's one of the best made rooms in terms of just, you can execute it perfectly and it makes you feel real good to do so. And the second torch room is done. Gotta grab a small key from Mini Helmosaur here.
There it is.
Now all that stands in our way from defeating Aghanim is our dear friend Moldorm.
Who's back for round 2. And he decides not to fill his hearts up there.
I'm actually surprised at not taking the brief moment to do that. I kind of feel like that tells me that he either feels behind or like Makinx is right on his tail.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of, because I mean, if he would have had like a red potion or something in his bottle, then okay. But yeah, he has nothing there.
Yeah, and as rare as it is, Aga 2 can go poorly, even in red mail.
Nice pattern to start with. Gets the triple.
That triple definitely takes away a little bit of that concern. Double on phase 2. There's the 0 on phase 3. Wraps it up on phase 4 with a nice little hit. And now it's down to Butter Sword, Silver Arrow, Ganon. Now, of course, Ganon was designed to be fought with the butter sword and the silver arrows, and the developers designed him to be pretty easy. Certainly can still give you issues if you're a little bit unlucky, but if you know what you're doing, the butter sword takes him out real quick, the red mail keeps you quite safe, the silvers make phase 4 pretty straightforward, and he's already done with the first 2 phases in terms of hits done.
He's gonna have to be careful though. 1.5 hearts.
Yeah, one more hit could do him in. He's through the arguable most dangerous phase, though. And the insta-stun for the first silver arrow here.
Misses a torch glitch, unfortunately.
Yep, and there's arrows 3 and 4. Gets a silverless hit.
Oh no! Takes a death.
Now, to him, this is panic time. To us, we know that he has plenty of a lead where he doesn't have to be concerned, but...
Yeah, and he's gonna have to be careful of his magic. He's really not gonna be able to use the fire rod because his low magic at this point.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna want to use the lamp unless he is very, very... taking some damage again.
Yeah, can really only take 1 hit, one hit, and then the second one will kill him.
And mentioning it during the Ganon Sour Climb, how he probably seemed like he felt a little bit behind or like he didn't have much time to spare, that Ganon fall, or that Ganon death just made that worse.
Yeah, his heart's probably pounding now. He's probably just waiting for a dot done.
That first silver hit, no torch glitch, which is a little bit more concerning with low magic. Second silver in, Ganon goes invisible at the wrong time.
Yep, and he takes that hit, so he cannot get hit again. Alright, 1 more arrow.
Okay, he's got it.
Alright, everybody, and get your GGs in chat.
And I am now realizing that we did not get a link to the race room, but he has finished, he has won, his time is approximately 1:43:32. Probably a little bit different than that.
I did get one. They just sent it earlier than the actual Discord, but it looks like the official time for him was 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 31 seconds.
No, so that was actually super close to the time on his personal timer. And we'll see if he jumps in here to take a moment for an interview, or if he's going to be around for that. As mentioned, with the new delay system on a race like that, where you know that ending was super tense for him, that 15 minutes before you even have to consider the whole interview thing helps a whole lot. Your Uncle Sparks.
Yeah, and don't forget, everybody, this wasn't just a, asazas is going to move on. This is a best of 3, so he still does have to win 1 more. So there's going to be 2 more races between these two, or at least 1 more, potentially 2 if Makinx wins the second one.
Yep, and we did mention at the beginning, those other races are not yet scheduled, so we can't really give you an idea of when these two will be going at it again, but they will have at least 1 more match within the course of this week. Magical Boy plays fetch again. That is the first time I've ever seen that credits comment for the red boomerang on Dig Spot.
Yeah, I have not seen that one myself. Makinx getting that 0 cycle.
Heading through the Wizard of Rooms himself, I would say, assuming a clean Ganon fight and the rest of the tower, we're looking at less than a 10-minute difference between these two. I would guess, with what's left, approximately maybe like a 7-minute difference with a clean Ganon Aga.
Yeah, not too much longer from where it's probably just a few minutes if he has clean Aga and Ganon.
And the couch cash sleeps again. Forever. It should be noted that at this point, Makinx, or at this point in his run, Makinx knew that asazas was done. The new delay does not affect the race rooms. The runners still see when their opponent finishes in real time. So it's not like he didn't know that his opponent was done. This whole last little bit here has been fully aware that he had lost this one. Also lands that triple on the first phase. Very nice and easy. Aga 2, and he will be heading on to his Ganon fight momentarily. And phase 2 is all the damage done for Makinx. With full health, I don't see him having any issues wrapping this up on the first fight here.
Nope, not whatsoever.
I mean, a fall is always a possibility no matter how much health you have, but now that the nerves are off, that is not super likely. firing his fire out a little bit too early. Did not get torch glitch, but doesn't really matter with silvers.
Now, and he's got half magic, so he's got plenty. Gets a double there and finishes him off, though.
That will be a GG for Makinx as well.
GG to Makinx, who will finish with an official time of 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 37 seconds.
Very nice Ganon fight on his part, and yeah, about 7-minute difference in the end was pretty close to accurate. And 7 minutes is not a lot when both of these two pretty much checked almost everything. Asaz has skipped a few relatively a few checks that Makinx did that were not super quick, and that's where a good chunk of that difference came from.
Yeah, but, you know, considering how much they both had to do, pretty much full cleared every dungeon, everything like that, that is a very respectable time for both runners.
No, absolutely is a wonderful time for both of them. The Triforce just has to say, success.
Okay, it looks like we do have Makinx in the waiting room. So we'll go ahead and pull him in. And looks like we have our winner as well down there. So we're going to pull them both in at the same time.
Welcome in, Asazas, Makinx. GG,
Hey.
both of you.
GG.
Yeah, GG.
Well, that's
So-
all clear.
So, Pendant Thieves Town, huh?
Pendant Thieves Town got me again.
Yeah, that was kind of, I don't know. I mean, there was nothing that that just there was no incentive to do the entire dungeon early. I feel so. Yeah,
Same here, and to go back there for just the last two items, it doesn't really make sense over the 9 items you get out of Pod and Eastern, so really made a lot more sense to go there first.
yeah, absolutely.
So, Asazas, I have to ask, how did you feel on that Ganon fight when you took that death?
I mean, that was awful. I mean, in terms of execution, I have kind of mixed feelings about this seed because mostly it was all right, but then that disaster in Skullwoods happened, and then a death in the last hit on the Ganon fight. That was absolutely awful. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen, but it does happen sometimes to everyone, I guess.
Yeah, the deaths definitely tend to happen. We kind of made note of the fact that you were not going for any safeties. Really, in GT, you didn't go for the powdering the anti-fairy in the room before Troll Dorm or anything. So that kind of put you in a riskier position. But I feel like it wasn't a bad play with Butter and Red Mail and Silvers. Things just kind of went wrong a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it should have been fine, but oh well.
So out of that whole thing, what would you guys both think is probably the sticking point other than that Thieves Town being kind of a jerk about things?
I don't know, that was really the only true bottleneck, I guess, in the entire seed.
I mean, I was kind of happy seeing Ice Palace paying off. Did it sort of early.
Oh yeah, that reminds me of one of the entertaining parts of this was, I forget, it says as you went to ice pretty early, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so while you were going to ice, Mackin was going to desert, and then you both went to swamp, and then you went to each other's first dungeons. It was just kind of like, okay, they're diverging, and then you just cross paths and reconnected.
Yeah, well, that made sense to do either ice or swamp, and that's in whatever order. Combo
Yeah.
those two.
Yeah, it just happened that the order, like Ice Palace, then Swamp, then Desert, was more fortunate for this particular seed.
Yeah, that worked out. Yeah, I had to double dip desert because of that. Because of course I found out it was boots locked. So that cost a little bit of time. And I did all of swamp without being able to run.
Oh, yeah, that's also a thing.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I full cleared the entire game before I finally went down to get Quake. So it was go mode flute on the absolute last item available to me on Trinix.
But yeah, I felt like maybe the boots would be a big factor in this race, because I don't know if you would have found it as early as I did.
Yeah, well, probably a little later. Yeah.
And I figure I might as well mention, we told chat that you guys don't have your other races scheduled yet, at least as far as I can see.
Nope, not yet.
No,
We'll do
we'll have
that.
to do that. Yep.
Yeah, we'll do that after this.
And that works. I will be looking forward to catching the other ones. Through a lot of this, you guys were pretty close. The couple of little differences in the routing there in the middle, as well as a couple of checks that asazas skipped, were the main differences, really. But other than that, it was a very well-matched seed and well-matched race.
Yeah.
You take a little bit of a drink there. Linklot, you got anything you want to ask?
I guess the only thing I have to ask is, with Quake being where it was, did either one of you feel like maybe the other person had finished, or not finished these, but found Quake earlier? Maybe you were behind at that point.
Yeah, I was thinking that, for a while when I didn't find anything in Eastern and Pod, so something had to be in Thieves Town. If he went, he might have gone there first. It would make sense if you do that. If you found the hammer first or something to finish that dungeon. But the longer it took, the more I realized that he had also fallen for that Pod Eastern trap. Because otherwise he would have finished way earlier.
Yeah, I don't know if that would mean an earlier Total Rock play. I don't know if that. Yeah, I don't know if that would matter. Like that would have any other negative connotations, but yeah, it would have been so much faster, I think.
Yeah, it could have done Turtle Rock with the first climb up Death Mountain. Could have routed everything in there. Because all we were missing at that point was Quake.
Oh yeah, same. Yeah, it was like that.
So yeah, it would have been a lot faster because we would probably have avoided Eastern and definitely would have avoided Eastern Pod that way. So it's a good 10-15 minutes faster maybe.
Yeah, because everything else that was important kind of was like chilling in Hype Cave, if I remember correctly. So
yeah.
Yeah, Hype Cave was basically your Death Mountain access and then some.
Yeah, exactly.
that was all I had to ask, though.
All right. Guess we'll schedule that second match then.
Yeah, we'll go ahead. Thank you for commentating and tracking.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to commentate, and looking forward to races 2 and hopefully 3 even.
Yeah, I hope so. I am hoping for 3 as well.
I'm not hoping so much, but oh well.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna try it anyway.
Anyway, thank you guys for putting on quite a show today with what turned out to be nearly a full clear of the game. It was fun to watch you two go through that. And to those watching, just give these guys a follow if you enjoyed watching. It was a very well played race by both of them. A little bit of routing difference was the main difference. Both played very well. So drop them both a follow if you liked what they had to show today. And also give shout outs to our tracker, Dusame, for clicking all the buttons. There were a lot of them to click today. Almost all the items were found. Kept us up to date, kept us kind of on track if ever we missed something. So thank you to her, as well as to my co-commentator, Sir Link-A-Lot. Thank you for joining me on this one.
Yeah, it was great to commentate. Thank you also, like you said, to Dusame for tracking, keeping us knowing what's been picked up. Other than that, definitely follow the rest of the speed gaming channels, as well as all of the ALTTP randomizer channels. We're only in the first round of brackets. There are plenty of races to be had just today, but just for the remainder of the tournament as well. And we're going to get a bunch of good races like this, and even better as the tournament continues.
Yep, it's only going to keep getting better, and it's already been very good every match I've seen, so there's a lot of fun times coming up. So with that, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and enjoy the boatloads of rando races that you can watch if you so choose.
Yep, thanks everybody for watching.